Magandang oras mga kababayan, mga ka-art lover. Marami sa atin ang hindi naniniwala na talagang merong kasong kriminal si Quiboloy doon sa United States of America at merong patong-patong na kaso ito. At dito rin sa Pilipinas ay meron siyang napakaraming kaso. Kaya ano nga ba talaga ang kaso at kasalanan ni Pastor Quiboloy sa Amerika? Bakit most wanted siya sa FBI? Narito ang video, atin panoorin ang kasagutan.
Apollo Quiboloy, and how did this Filipino pastor end up on the FBI's most wanted list? Let me explain. Apollo Quiboloy is widely known in the Philippines for being a charismatic televangelist.
That is when God saw your plight, and in that He is my masterpiece.
The 74-year-old is the founder of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, the name above every name, a megachurch in Davao City. Also known as KOJC, the church claims to have millions of followers around the world. It's housed in a 30-hectare compound. That's about the size of 43 football fields. It has a bunker that Quiboloy reportedly hid in while authorities were looking for him. In April 2005, Quiboloy claimed that he received a revelation that he was the appointed Son of God, and he's gone by that title ever since.
That's why I had to become a son in order to inherit all of these things. Servant will inherit nothing. That's why he has to make a son out of him.
Quiboloy was also a spiritual advisor to former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte during his time in office. In 2021, Quiboloy and two church administrators were charged in the U.S. for allegedly running a sex trafficking operation between 2002 and 2018. According to the indictment, they recruited girls and women, the youngest just 12, to work as Quiboloy's personal assistants. The victims were allegedly assigned to night duty, where they were coerced to have sex with Quiboloy and told that this was God's will. Those who obeyed were rewarded with good food, trips, and annual payments based on their performance. Those who didn't were threatened with physical abuse and eternal damnation. Of the 5 victims named in the indictment, 3 were minors when the alleged sex trafficking began. And that's not all. The indictment also outlined a labor trafficking scheme that exploited church members who were allegedly sent to the U.S. from the Philippines. Once there, they'd have their IDs confiscated and forced to solicit money for the church. Donors were told that the money would go to charity, but in actual fact, it went to church operations and went to fund the lavish lifestyles of the church leaders. Separately in the Philippines, accusations against the pastor for abusing and exploiting his followers began to emerge in 2023, according to local media reports. He was finally arrested in September at his church compound after a massive police operation. Here's a look at some key dates in the Quiboloy saga timeline. In 2018, U.S. authorities started to pay attention to Quiboloy's church and its activities there. In February that year, Quiboloy tried to transport more than $335,000 in his luggage from California to the Philippines. 2 years later, in February 2020, 3 top administrators of KOJC were charged by a U.S. federal grand jury for overseeing a labor trafficking scheme. Fast forward to November 2021, and a new indictment was issued against Quiboloy and top church leaders. They were charged with running a sex trafficking operation involving children, among other charges. It also alleged that young women and girls were forced or coerced into having sex with Quiboloy. Not long after, in January 2022, Quiboloy, along with 2 of his top aides, made it to the FBI's most wanted list. In April 2024, a court in Davao issued arrest warrants for Quiboloy and 5 of his associates for violating the Philippines' anti-child abuse law. 2 months later, in June, police stormed Quiboloy's church compound in Davao City, resulting in a months-long standoff between his supporters and the police, with Quiboloy thought to be holed up in a bunker on the premises.
Welcome to our worship center po. This is our cathedral.
Come August, some 2,000 police officers attempted to raid the church compound again. All this finally came to an end on September the 8th, when Philippine Interior and Local Government Secretary Benjamin Abalos Jr. announced Quiboloy's arrest on Facebook.
Ayan, so dito na nahuli si Quiboloy. Dahil sa talagang cause niyan kung bakit nahuli nitong taon na ito at finailan ng napakaraming kaso in 2024 sa taong ito dahil sa iba na ang nakaupong presidente ngayon. Ito si PBBM at hindi si Digong Duterte. Kasi 6 years na protektado itong si Quiboloy ng kanyang kumpare na isang presidente. At of course, suportado niya. Noong tumakbo pa ito, ay napakalaki ng tulong nito. In terms of money, ay binuhos niya ang kanyang milyon-milyones para i-back up sa mga kandidato na kanyang tinutulak. Katulad ni Robin Padilla, ni Bungo, ni Calvo Bato de la Rosa, ni Digong. Kaya diyan binuhos niya, Cynthia Villar, binuhos niya diyan ang kanyang salapi ng KOJC na pinagpaguran ng mga nagtrabaho sa kanya at mga membro niya. Kaya nanalo ang mga yun at yun na sana ng mga tao ang magprotekta sa kanya sa kaso niya sa Amerika, sa most wanted list na mga kaso niya sa FBI. Pero ang nangyari ay nawala na kasi yung kanyang kumpare, hindi na presidente. At isa pa ay dahil sa talagang pinagmumura nila si PBBM, gumagawa pa sila ng mga video na mga polburon-polburon na gawa-gawa lang at kung anong paninira na kanilang pinupukol kay PBBM. Kaya yun tuloy, hindi nga natin nakitang nagalit si PBBM pero halata naman natin na kumikilos. Okay, kaya ganyan talaga, bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, wag magalit. Kapag meron kang aksyon, meron niyang reaksyon. Kapag may ginawa ka sa kapwa mo, may gagawin rin sa'yo ang taong yon. Okay, tapusin natin ang video.
Besides Quiboloy, several others have been arrested and charged in the Philippines with trafficking and child abuse. They are Quiboloy's driver and bodyguard Crescente Canada, the church's former chief financial officer Pauline Canada, coordinator Sylvia Semanias, and Quiboloy's close aides Jacqueline Roy and Ingrid Canada. In the US, 8 people other than Quiboloy were named in the 2021 indictment. They include Teresita Tolibas Tandan, who was a top overseer in the church, Felina Salinas, who was allegedly responsible for collecting and securing passports from church workers in Hawaii, and Helen Panilag, who oversaw the collection of financial data from church operations worldwide. For now, Quiboloy is being detained in Manila. His supporters have filed a petition to have him placed under house arrest or be transferred to the custody of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says the country is not looking to extradite Quiboloy to the US for now, although Washington is expected to request for his extradition along with his accomplices.
Okay, so dito lang magtapos ang ating video tungkol dito sa mga kaso ni Quiboloy. Ngayon, kung hindi makulong si Quiboloy dito sa Pilipinas, ay siguradong sa Amerika. Diba? Kapag sabihin natin na naariglo niya dito ang lahat ng mga senadoros, ng congressman, sabihin natin pati si PBBM na ariglo niya dahil sa tamis niyang magsalita, kung hingi na ang Amerika ng extradition, ay talagang ipapadala siya doon at wala nang magagawa dyan si PBBM. Okay, so atin na lang to antabayanan ang susunod na kabanata dito sa kwento ng buhay ni Quiboloy, ang pastor na anak daw ng Diyos. Hanggang sa muli, mga ka-art lover, mga kababayan, ako'y magpaalam na. God bless the Philippines and God bless the people.